And I have a question to ask you guys. What's wrong with you people? The smart ones have left. What are you guys still doing in the hall? So good. So thanks for staying back. And now, if I can just request everyone to kind of stand up, please. Just drop everything what you have in your lap. Just stand up. And what I want you guys to do is reach your hand out, both your hands. Both your hands out. Find a shoulder. Walk around if you have to. Walk around if you have to. But you must grab a shoulder. Can you do that? Just grab a shoulder. You can't lie around without a shoulder. Just go ahead. Just walk around, grab a shoulder. Guys, you're hugging each other. Just grab the shoulder from behind. Yes. That's wonderful. If you've got your shoulder, and sternly just massage the shoulder. Can you do that? Just tighten it. Just do that. Very nice. Just give a nice, firm, nice massage. You know, it's been a long day. You guys deserve it. Yeah, thank you. Now, I want you to shake the shoulders to knock that guy's head off. Okay, do that. Do that. Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. Good. I don't know how you guys survive, man. The entire day just sitting and listening. Oh. Okay, here's how we're going to play. All right? So I'm going to ask the guys in the front row to count from 1 to 10. Can you do that for me? You will start from 1. And you will count? Go ahead, Reshmi. You're part of the gang. Let's do this. You're 3. All right? And Anurag? You're 6. All right? 8, 9, 10. Good. Now I want you guys to get up, go grab a table. And as you're grabbing a table, make sure to grab these numbers with you. So make sure to give it. Will you guys go grab a table? Just get some. And sit along so it's easy. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent. Now let's start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from here. Do you want to start? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't ask you for a condom. Are you feeling so shy? Just go ahead and just say 1. 1. Good. 2. Okay. 4. Okay. You're done. 6. You're 6.
7.
Thanks for waking up. You're 7. That's good. So 8, 9, and you're 10. Right? Remember your numbers again. 1, 2, 3, and you're 4. Remember that? Shout out.
11.
Oh, no, 1. 1. 2. You done?
2.
Good. 3. Now's when we increase the tempo.
7.
Okay, let's start from the last thing. Remember your numbers. Start. Hi, how are you? Good. Oh, good. So affectionate. Tell me your number.
10.
10. That's good. You. I love that number. You're waking up. 4 and 9. But take that number. It's okay. You. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember your number, guys. Good. Good. That you got it. You guys done? No. Pick a number. Or you're done. 8. You guys done? Everyone has a number? What about you?
Yeah, 3.
Good. You guys done? Good. Now, these guys who the leaders are at the table, will you be kind enough to just hold the card so that everyone sees what number you have? Excellent. Are you guys so buddy enough? Can you just kind of divorce yourself and get a separate table? I'll really appreciate that. That's good. Just grab one number per table. Good. So you guys remember your numbers? Right? You liars. Half of you forgot already. But just make up a number even if you forget, right? Grab a table with the prettiest girl, and that's the way it runs. So once you get up, walk towards the table in which your number. So if your number is 4, you will come to table number 4. If your number is 2, you will come to table number 2. If your number is 10, you will come to this table on your extreme left. Can you do that? So the rule is nobody can sit alone. Nobody can sit alone separately. And you will have exactly 2 minutes to assemble yourself. Grab a seat. If you don't get a seat, hang around. Can you do that very quickly? Yes, that's 9. Wonderful. So here's what we're going to do. I want you guys to so you guys settle yourself. Excellent. Now what we're going to do is I want you guys to together as a group. Okay, time out guys, your attention please. Together as a gang, I want you to do 2 things. How many things? That's right. The first one is together as a gang discuss on one social media tip that will really work either for an individual or for a brand. Let me repeat that again. Put your heads together and come out with very interesting, very unique idea that you have either seen your own companies do, if you're part of an agency, something you've done, or if you've seen other companies do. You need not even be associated. All right? Discuss together and come out with 2 or 3 ideas, but I want you to pick one good idea. That's number 1. Number 2, I want you to come out together as a gang, come out with one question that's been plaguing your head that you want answers for. Write down that question. The first one is what you teach others. The second one is what you want to be taught in. Got it? You will be given exactly 5.5 minutes starting now. That is right. So if you're smart enough, if you're artistically talented like I am, you can do something like this. You could say, we can teach others personal branding, and you can write that down. If you have a question, like my question is, are blogs still relevant in times of Facebook and Twitter? And that's a question I want to ask. So you can write down that question. Something that you want to teach others, something that you want to learn from others. Got it? 5.5 minutes, your time starts now. Okay. I have to tell you, only the top 5 teams will qualify to even present. So if you're sucky, you will not even present. So it's a kind of a competition, so you don't want to lose out. So come out with some really nice ideas. All right, time up, guys. Time up. Listen up. Here's what I need you to do. Which amongst you do you think is the one that's the most prepared? You want to say, I'm going to kick everyone's ass. Our team has a really good idea and a great question. Who wants to go up? And Soumyajit just announced that there's a special prize for everyone in that gang, the first team that's going up. So let's give it up for Soumyajit. It's awesome. It's good. Thank you, Soumyajit. That's good. You guys want to know what the prize is? No, that's good. But who wants to go first? No. But that's the special. Who wants to go? Oh, there you go. Awesome. Give it up for the gang. Give it up. So before you guys go up, how many of you here have cameras here? How many of you have cameras? Okay, good. Now you guys will be the official photographers or the unconference. Okay. How many of you tweet here? Good. Could you spare a couple of tweets? Just put the thing. That's awesome. Just tag it Engage 2012. All right. Let's do this. And by the way, where's the official photographer? You got to make these guys who come up look sexy, and give the photograph to them, so he'll put it up on their Facebook and say, I spoke at Engage 2012. All right? Just wait. Thank you. That's good. So who wants to go first? Team 1? Team 5. Here, go ahead. Your mic's out here. You guys want to stand up, do a teamwork, and tell what you want to teach the others.
The idea we have is crowdsourcing.
No, it's not working. Guys, do you get this mic to work? No, they are chatting amongst themselves. Let them finish. I'm sure they'll switch it on after it's done. Oh, now they're done. Yes.
Hello? Yeah. So, should we introduce ourselves out here, or?
Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell your Twitter handle so they can follow you as well, more followers.
Oh, I'm Rangin from Cognizant. Okay. So, I don't have Twitter. I am in LinkedIn. Okay.
There, follow him.
So, do you want to carry on? Okay. So, the idea or the social media tip we want to talk about.
You will speak to the gang, not to me. All right, you got to teach others.
Okay.
Yes.
So the tip we have for social media is crowdsourcing. So crowdsourcing as an idea is people are talking between themselves to come out with a final opinion about a particular idea. The benefit about crowdsourcing is that it's a collaborative, it's a collective intelligence, and there's a buzz around it. And people kind of think that they've all contributed and they've come out with a kind of good idea about it. So
Rajiv, I have to tell you, not a single guy or girl is listening to you. I think people are all busy discussing amongst yourself. So this is how we play the game. Don't even worry about your idea. You will kick ass. You will do a damn good job. So why don't we all listen to him?
Okay.
And that might be a good way to go around. All right?
Should I again repeat or no? That's fine.
Quickly, yes.
So, crowdsourcing. So what is crowdsourcing? So what is crowdsourcing? We just defined. People are collaborating to come out with the idea. Those people who are important to that kind of idea, they give a final. Our collective intelligence about particular stuff. The benefit is a collaborative, it's a collective intelligence, and there are people there's a buzz around it, and people think that they have contributed and they should kind of go ahead doing that. People have done that. Micromax, Kurkure has done that, and we are seeing lot many ideas about branding. There's a advertising kind of when people kind of do an advertising, people are talking with the some of the crowd and think about whether this would work or not. Trends, I think, in the future we'll see new brand creation, new advertising creation would kind of go through crowdsourcing process, and also new product creation as well.
And what's the question you have for the gang?
So for crowdsourcing, what's your idea? Like if it's a kind of education, we are talking about education as CSR. What is the kind of idea we feel that is good for crowdsourcing, and by which you can actually contribute to those kind of CSR initiatives?
So that's the question, and the answer has to
Okay,
come from you
before
guys.
the question is answered, one more thing to add to this. Everybody here, as a part of crowdsourcing, you can add to our ideas. That is crowdsourcing for you. Thank you.
There you go. Good one. So your question again is, let me repeat it for you. What are some good ways to crowdsource ideas for an education project like Anand? Right? Any ideas? Look, guys, even the sound and audio guys are feeling sad for you. He's filling up music in between so that you guys don't get embarrassed.
Would you like to add
but yeah, go ahead.
What they are saying? It may be related to crowdsourcing, education-wise, collaboratively, edited.
How can we use something to crowd, basically, if we have, say, Anant as an initiative, how do we use crowdsourcing as a tip to promote that initiative?
Oh, I see. I thought a different way. I thought,
That's the
what's
question.
an
If I
example
can
of
reframe it.
crowdsourcing? I thought that would be Wikipedia.
Not really. Wikipedia is a great example of how people, like how people have actually contributed and come together to create an education platform. But it is, you cannot use it in an Anant kind of scenario because I'm not creating a buzz about Anant. Here I want to create a buzz about Anant using the crowdsourcing tip. Like suppose I have 10 NGOs who are very passionate about this cause, talking about Anant at the same time. And giving ideas to Anant that you can, talk about yourself like this, or you can promote yourself here, or you can, these are the people who are there who will be willing to help you out, or get sponsors for them, etc., etc. So that's where, crowdsourcing comes in, and that's where, how Anant could leverage it. That's what I feel.
Anybody has better ideas? Yep, go ahead. You need the mic. Yes, of course.
Right. So see, if we see the patterns of crowdsourcing, okay, so we need to really divide the the community users into three parts. Okay. The first one is basically the content creator who creates the content and the person who's going to create the buzz about, your Anant initiative, number one. Second one is your content critic, not the critic in the real sense of terms, but then people who are really going to respond to your initiative. Okay. That is content critic. And the third one is basically your content consumers who will simply consume your social media content and information and do nothing about it. And the typical percentages that we have gathered, we in the sense, the people around the world have gathered, is 1:10:89. Okay, so 1% out of 100, 1% will create a content, 10% people will respond to it, and 89% of people will not do anything about it. So I think what you need to do rather is that you need to focus upon the people, who are really going to promote this initiative more in terms of not only the financial help, but NGOs and, other people who can support these things. And that's how, build up successfully around this model. And therefore, you need to be really focused and segmented around these 10% than those 89%. And in fact, this percentage ratio is not only limited to your question. This is also the fundamental to success and failure of lot of social strategies in the bigger organizations as well. So this is my answer.
Okay, that's great. That's good. All right, so team number 2, which number is this? Who wants to go next? Right, awesome. So you guys go ahead. Okay, just to be certain that I think
Somebody
we have
wants
only
to take
about
back the mic.
somebody should take the mic. 4.5 minutes is what you guys each team has. So how do we make sure that when 4.5 minutes finishes that we put a hard stop? Who wants to take responsibility of it? Who can whistle the loudest? Beat that. Anybody who beats that gets to be the official timekeeper. Somebody? There you go. So I'll be the timekeeper. Yes, 4.5 minutes. There you go.
Okay. So hi everyone. I'm Somnath. I can be followed at @speak2som on Twitter. Now our question, what we can teach is that
To the
gang is social intent. What we mean by this is companies do jump into that bandwagon of joining Facebook, be on Facebook, be on Twitter, be on any platforms, Foursquare, Tripit, whatever. But what is it that you want out of this media is very, very important. So companies should be very much, for example, a case in point, Delta on Facebook, they came and made sure that they can address to the students community who are on Facebook and make tickets available on Facebook. That means it was a revenue generation platform for them. They were very clear about it. Okay, they were not that, okay, I am on Facebook, next what? Shall I be putting in more content there? Is everyone putting in a message so that I should be also putting in a message and going and counting the number of likes that I have got for that? No, they were for revenue generation. So social intent is something which should be very clear on the minds of the organization when they jump into that bandwagon and say that I would like to go social. First have that clear, the rest of the things will fall in place. You will be able to identify whether you are doing good or bad. For that you need an intent.
Right, especially the intent from the top management, from the CEO level.
Yes.
I think that's a very good point.
And one more example, I cannot name the client, but when I was in US, I worked for this client. So there I saw, how many of you have heard about Yammer?
Yammer.
Yes. It's a Twitter kind of a platform for enterprise. They were there and they were trying to, they asked me that, okay, now you deal with these things in Cognizant within your practice. Can you tell me how to measure whether we are successful? I said, do you know what you want to get out of it? You go there, you talk. Are you ideating on that platform? Are you trying to, simply get connected afterward? What is your purpose being on Yammer? Do you know that? Then only you can go and measure. Otherwise, you cannot.
By the way, is the client Cognizant?
No, I work for Cognizant. That client is a private label mortgaging company.
Okay. You're slowly getting that answer. Do you have a question?
Yes. Does ads on FB actually work?
Do ads on Facebook actually work? How many of you, by show of hands, have actually advertised on Facebook? Right? Awesome. So one of you guys want to answer that?
Okay, I work for a lead generation company based out of US, and we spend around $1 million every year. And we tried Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, whole lot of social media websites. They sucks money, never work for us, never. We generate around 3,000, 4,000 leads every day, and we spend around $1 million every year, more than that. Okay, but never worked for us. I don't know what about others.
Okay, what about others? Do you want to answer? Yeah. Let's quickly take that mic.
Thank you.
That's a very honest answer. Thank you.
Okay. What I feel is that there are two things to Intuit. When somebody is looking at whether social ads work or not, it's what are the social ads doing? They're diverting traffic through one page to the community page or the brand page which is existing on the social platform. So if I'm looking at that as an objective, it'll work. If it's not working, I need not pay as a brand. The objective over here is to understand what am I doing with the traffic on my page? Am I making use of the traffic? I think that's the question which brands need to ask rather than asking whether the ads are working or not. From a business perspective, if anybody is not clicking, the brand doesn't need to pay for that. So why do we need to worry for that, whether it's working or not? What I need to ask myself is, I'm diverting traffic to a particular destination. What am I doing with that traffic? What is my content doing over there to engage with that traffic? I think then we'll get answers to this question.
So quickly, has it worked for you or not?
It has.
It has. Good. Okay, good. Do you want to go? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, see, whether it is working or not, we need to talk about the facts and not about, it works for me or it works for that person and it did not work for me, because, it can have varying results. Okay. So we need to really go by a standard authority who probably has done some analysis and captured the reports. So what I'm going to tell you is about, there was an analysis carried by Forrester in 2009, and the result says that out of 100 rupee or $100 invested onto, $100 revenue generated by Facebook in totality for any product sale, whether it comes from a recommendation or whether it comes from a rating or whether it comes from a product store or whether it comes from an ad, only 6% comes from ad. So answer to your question is no, Facebook ads don't work at all, number one. Biggest testimony of Facebook ads not working is that General Motors very recently pulled out a major campaign of a $10 million deal with Mark Zuckerberg because they did not see any revenue coming out from their past association with Facebook. So this is the data that tells us that it does not work at all.
Good. So that's a valuable, though I've heard people say that Facebook ads work if it is to drive likes. If it is just to drive likes, then it works, but if it's for commerce, it doesn't work. All right, we've run out of time. We're already past 6 minutes on this thing. You guys got lucky. So which is the next team? Yes, ma'am. Mike, please, if you can. Yes.
Our tip is engagement.
Do you want to introduce yourself? That's what everyone else
Right.
will do now.
I'm Shilpa Srinath from Tata Steel. I look after the digital media in the company. Our tip for the gang is that engage your crowd rather than just get the crowd into your page. If you don't have enough content and interest in your pages, no one is going to stay. So no matter how much you spend on advertising, Facebook ads and Google AdWords and this and that, if you don't have the content, if you don't have the intent of keeping your customers and visitors informed, it's not going to work. That's our tip. And our question is, how do you measure ROI of your social media engagement?
You only need another conference to answer that. But who wants to take a dig at that? How do you measure ROI?
What are the practices, benchmarks?
What are the
industry
best practices for measuring ROI of social media?
Hi everybody, this is Kapil.
Kapil, do you want to just get up so everyone looks at you?
Sure. Hi everybody, this is Kapil. Before I answer the question of how do you measure ROI, you first need to not measure ROI, but rather before you begin the campaign, not in the middle of it, not at the end of it. Before you begin and conceptualize the campaign, you need to figure out what is your objective of the campaign. And then realistically, as you are going ahead and developing the campaign, put together metrics of how you can drive it. For example, your measure of success might be revenue. Facebook or social media is not going to let you measure revenue that you will generate out of the campaign. So figure out what is a good measure of looking at revenue. What are the secondary factors that might impact your revenue? In some brands, it may be likes. Well, though I will say Facebook likes is not a criteria of success for any brand. I know companies, and I mean, strangely, nobody mentioned it since the morning, but I know companies that will sell you 1 lakh of fans for a few thousand rupees. Okay? So Facebook fans per se is not a measure of success. They can be bought without any engagement. And I can give you examples of customers that have done that. We have seen case studies where customers have bought fans with no increase in engagement. So not Facebook fans, but really engagement on the Facebook page could be a criteria. Conversion of people going in from your Facebook page to your website. Though, again, that's also slightly tricky, because what we see is when you begin a social media campaign, initially conversion of people from your Facebook fan page to your website will be large. But as your fans already have experienced your brands, it will start to kind of stabilize and then maybe even go down as you go forward. Again, we have seen case studies of how that has happened, where it will initially grow up in a huge way, and then stabilize and then start going down. Not diminishing returns, it's just that those people that you reached earlier are now stable and fans of your page and are already aware of your website, and also they don't need to go through your Facebook page or through your social platform. So, I mean, really the answer is figure out what is your end objective of the campaign, put together social metrics to measure it. Revenue in most cases is not gonna work.
Okay.
Which is where companies make a mistake looking at, hey, did it bring revenue to me? Yeah. Find out the metrics. For different companies, it is different. For some companies, it may purely be how many people were talking bad about me earlier. Let me give a quick example on that.
You have to make it, sorry, I'll cut you out. Just make it very quick because you got to move on. Yes.
Sure. We worked for a university. Initially, when we started, people started talking about dorm is bad, professor is bad, this professor sleeps with her, she sleeps with him, this room has a problem, the VC is bad, and everything. We started building, just manage that, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. In a few months, now what we see on that particular page as conversations is people coming in and saying, I want to join, what do I do? I got this particular rank in AIEEE, how do I apply? I got choice between this course and this course, what do I do? So it might be a slightly longer term, so figure out what is it that you are looking for and build the business metrics associated with that.
Kapil, I don't know about you, but I found the earlier version more cooler and spicier, but that's just me, but that's fine. That's a good point. So yes, but you guys already finished. Oh, okay, I think we're running out of time. Just save that thing. We'll come to that. Which team wants to go next? Team number 1. Yeah. 8. Yes, go.
So first is what we want to teach, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
You can make it up as you go. Why don't you stand up so it's camera can catch
sure. Great. So team number 8 wants to teach the audience that how to really, what is the magic recipe of selling the product onto social sites. I mean, just now, we have debated that Facebook ads don't work, and this and that, marketing tactics and other things don't work at all. So what we really want to tell everybody that we really know the silver bullet, we really know the magic recipe. as to how to sell product and services onto a social media. And this is not coming out of my hat, or I'm making up things. This is out of proven studies basically, which have been taken on to the past. People have studied Facebook patterns, and people have studied Twitter patterns and other social media successes, and this is the result of that. So what don't work on us...
No, hold it. The only thing you missed is giving your rate card at the end of it. But you got to say, what's the magic bullet?
That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, so I'm telling you what does not work, and then I'll come down to what works. Is it okay? No, so I'll tell directly. So what really works, how to sell product and services onto Facebook? If you start putting up your custom stores or your advertisements and other things, you are going to be losing big time money to Facebook people, and at the end you are simply going to make Mark Zuckerberg more richer. So what people have observed is that two things really work very fast, or three things work very fast in the social media as far as product selling and services selling goes. Number one is recommendations from your friend circle, which are trusted people. And this has been really proven, and the percentage is around 46%. Number two is, if you are onto Twitter, if somebody talks about any product or any services, let us say Suhail, Seth, or anybody, he very recently bashed about Airtel and other things. So Sunil Mittal got really worried, and so microblogging is the second thing onto which, if you promote your products or services, they are going to really rake up your stakes big time. Third thing is the recommendations given by other people whom you don't know, and this is the recipe for Amazon and eBay. So let us say I have a product in mind, let us say iPad 3 or a Galaxy S3. Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? Because it's still not available for demo and other things. But what I'll do is I'll go to Amazon, I'll go to eBay, I'll see what other people are saying. And this is the trending stuff that I will really bank upon their judgment as to what they're saying about it, and then I will take a go or a no-go decision. So these three things work very clearly for product selling and service selling.
That's awesome. Very crisp and neat.
Yep.
Thank you. Good stuff. Team number 3. You had a question. Actually, we're kind of moving quickly. So, team number 3. Mike. Next will be team number 7.
Hello.
Just keeping you.
Hi, everyone. Very quickly, we just have this phrase with us which says Idea Bank. We have a lot of things, people talk about a lot of things, and they have this urge to put it online. मैं गलत सोच रहा हूँ, सही सोच रहा हूँ, let's put it online. So the tip is, keep your ears and eyes open. Use social media as your bank. All the deposits are there. You are eligible to withdraw anything from there. Use social media as your bank. Plug out things which you require. Not that bank hai to loot lo. It's not that. Take out things you require and plug it in correct places in your organization if that helps for an overall development. I mean, you can use social media as your bank. That's the baseline.
Awesome. I think it's a very good idea. I'll also tell you why. The minute when you tell people, you don't necessarily have to put a great idea. Any idea is good. Then people start feeling a lot more comfortable and they start putting in. Now, when the quantity of ideas increase, naturally the quality of ideas, part of it will also increase. I think that's a very good point out there.
And your next one is the question. I mean, if this makes any relevance, it's very small. Fisting your brand. Once I put my brand on social media, I have lost all control on the reputation of the brand. It can go high, it can go low, it can go anywhere. So, I mean, this question is, again asked in some different words, but again it's the same question. Is it possible to fist my brand? Okay, I throw my brand online, I see there's some negative waves going on, can I withdraw it? Is withdrawing just the post, is withdrawing my brand from the space altogether? Once I throw my brand, everybody knows the name. Even if I stop blogging, even if I stop my Facebook page, have I stopped my brand from the social media? That's my question.
Yep.
Give her the mic. Is withdrawal a complete withdrawal, or I'm into the market for,
Okay, who wants to answer this? Is it okay for you to get your brand online and take it offline after some time? Is that a good practice? Yes.
No, it is not all right.
Mike.
It's not all right. Once you go online on the social media, you cannot withdraw your brand. People will keep on discussing it. They have forums, they have other platforms where the word will go on circulating. What you have to do, you have to put in damage control measures, which were discussed also that day.
Right.
Into the mic, please.
I may be wrong, but this is my opinion. What you just said can be summed up. If you are on social media, you can unleash yourself on social media. You cannot control it. That is not true. You can control it. For that, you should have thought long time back before jumping there, so that you have got the metrics. See, it's not that people can talk bad about you just like that. As I think someone was pointing out during their presentations, if someone speaks bad, it is short-lived. If it hasn't got a material, if it hasn't got stuff, so it will die its own death. Okay? What you should be bothered about is how to moderate that. So you have got your metrics in place. You will measure it. You will think about it. It's not that, okay, I have given it. Now let me sit back and watch. That is not the policy.
One contradiction to this, I mean, with all due
but
regard.
that is my own opinion. Okay?
No, it's something like, okay, fine. I cannot pre-plan the response. That's one. I have done all good things about my product, my company and everything. Now when I go social, I cannot pre-plan the responses. It is definitely an uncontrolled situation. That's one. Second, when I have a response and I take an impulsive decision, because end of the day it's a human effort which comes into picture. Fine. And my boss is an impulsive guy. Arey, kal wo dekha tha, it's a very bad thing somebody has written and he's taken an impulsive decision, just remove it. So taking that impulsive decision, yes, no. If not an impulsive decision, how long should I wait for that reaction to convert? Because, okay, given the fact I am good. Let us assume I am good. I've done nothing wrong. I'm good with my brand, good with my services. But there is some competitor who's trying to create this wave with me. So
that's exactly the example that was given. Someone went online and have talked bad mouth. Okay, this particular service is total filth. It's waste of.
So what is that lead time? I should have that patience.
Okay, that's good.
So see, the thing is, there is no gray area in between. You need to be really confident about your product, whether you want to go social or not. Okay, competition is so tough that people will, if you're confident and if your product does well, and let me tell you, your social will take it to the next level. Okay, it will go really viral, bottoms up, top down, everywhere. But if it is bad, people will, beat it blue and black. So there is no lead time, and don't think about those KPIs also, because you will be losing money, you will be losing, a lot of time, and you will be building up a wrong perception with public. And the amount of money and time that you will reinvest to rebrand it will really outweigh your, previous budget. So there is no gray area. If you are really confident, thorough, go ahead with social, and enjoy the benefits of a social. Go to the next level. Otherwise, don't try it out. It's as simple as that. No, risk is, so you should do your due diligence before, you should be really confident about your product that, okay, yep, I have tested it from all the angles, I have done all the sanity tests, and then boom, here I go social. Otherwise, don't go about it,
So that's a good point. So when you're getting into social, just be prepared that there will be negative comments, and be mentally prepared and also physically prepared that if you have to, how do you handle it? So you have that plan of action right out there. Okay, that's good. Team number.
Experience about Facebook. Like, I'm an e-entrepreneur and we have a online grocery. This is the only one for Calcutta. There are a lot of online groceries all over India. But we have the largest online grocery for Calcutta, that's mylocalbazaar.com. Now, we have done extensive marketing and publicity on Facebook. Now, what we have done, I can give you some small examples like how Facebook has benefited us. Now, Facebook, what I personally believe is like a shopping mall. Like, people come to a shop, but Facebook, there are a lot of shops, and more people are coming over there. Not only that, number two, if suppose there is a review, somebody has come to my website and put a review on any product, people will think that whether this is a genuine review or not. But when the same thing comes onto the Facebook fan page, people will know that the person who has like 500,000 friends, that person is a real person and not a fake profile. And there is one more thing that I have gained from Facebook. Like, there are a lot of questions being asked on the fan page of the My Local Bazaar. So what we can do, we can just compile those questions. First of all, we answer them over there. So people who have that question in mind but haven't asked us, they get the answer from there, and we take out that question and the answer, and we are actually building our FAQ page from there. So that is one advantage we have used from Facebook. Another thing is like what we have done, we have got feedback from that fan page, and we have also implemented new ideas. We have actually changed our codes, changed our strategies, and completely brought new ideas, and the ideas were given to us by the fans from the fan page. So that's something I can share with you about that mylocalbudget.com. And
so let me ask you, how much percentage of business do you think has increased because of your presence on Facebook? Rough number?
See, we haven't like, there are a lot of queries from Facebook, so we can say Facebook is not the only place we are doing the ads. There are a lot of other places, so we cannot say we are getting 50% ads response on the Facebook. Okay. But whatever we have put on Facebook, whatever we have invested on Facebook, I think we are happy with what we have got back.
Good. There you go. So
Thank
one
you.
supporter.
Thanks.
That's good. Thank you. Number one. Are you done with number one? No. Why don't you guys go? Into the mic. If you can just wait.
Hi, I'm Samrat Mukherjee. Our tip is think smart, act fast. That's engaging people real time. As in, whenever there is a relevant topic going on, relevant occurrence that is happening right now, to create content on it, as in around it. So there will be a lot of, you will get a lot of intent people who will come and engage to that posts. That's the tip. And
Sorry, do you guys get it? No.
That's creating content real time, as in whenever there is an occurrence, some occurrence going on, as in some event or happening, some topic which is trending. So create content around it, so that you will get a lot of intent followers to it.
That's a great tip.
Yeah. So that's the tip. And question is, if we are
so that's a quick point, right? Because you're talking about relevance, talk or write about something that's in the news. How many of you here blog? Raise your hands. You maintain, how many of you have a personal blog? Raise your hands. That's a pretty good number. Okay, that's good. Go ahead.
And
your question?
The question is, if we are doing a campaign on social, so how we can analyze sentiments? If you're targeting a group of people, and if you would like to analyze the sentiment, how we can do that?
You got an answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
wait. The mic's coming in.
How can we analyze sentiments given that there's a campaign being done?
Into the mic, sorry.
Yeah, typically sentiment analysis is done on natural language processing scale, which has got two important parameters. One is accuracy and one is precision. And so you need to have basically a dictionary, okay? In simple terms, you need to have a dictionary or a repository where you enlist what is positive, what is negative, and what is neutral for you, okay? This list is an evolving list. And with investment of time, you can just reach this curve this way, and then it flattens. So initially, you will be investing, you will enrich that repository. Over a period of time, it will come and it will be at that, let's say 85%. Now, based on that repository, you need to have a crawler basically which goes and crawls and then matches it. In simple terms, it matches it to that repository time and again to find out how much of that is positive, how much of that is negative, and how much
is
of
there
that
a tool available? Because this
yeah,
sounds
there are
very
several
complicated.
tools. That's why I was not naming the tool. There are several tools available.
So why don't you name one or two of
Okay,
your
so
favorite?
you can go for there are tools from Alterian, there are tools from Buzz 360, there are tools from Radian 6. Okay, so there are a number of players, and with each passing day, this type of sentiment analyzers are coming in the market. But the crux of it is, it has got a repository. You need to crawl and find out. First, you need to build your repository, and then you need to go and find out how it matches to your repository, and then rate it on a natural language processing scale.
Team number 6. And then we'll go to team number 5. How about 4? How about 3? You get the idea. Okay.
Okay, shall we speak about the question and the tape, or it's the rebuttal round still on?
How about you start with your name?
Okay, my name is Portia Banerjee and I'm from Digital Brands, and I'll speak on behalf of Group 6. Okay, as far as the question is concerned, our question is, how do you reach out to your target in a limited budget in the shortest span of time? If you see the question clearly, the three important parameters of social media, that is target, budget and time, are mentioned over here. And I think if three of the parameters put together can make a really good equation. So this is one question which have drilled in the minds of my fellow members from my group, that how can we put together that is a target audience, that too in a limited budget and in the shortest span of time. Thank you. And as far as the tip is concerned, tip of the day, that would be shared by my another fellow member.
We have discussed the tip, and the content is key to success on social media. Social media.
You just introduce yourself, stand up so you can look better on the camera. Just stand up, introduce yourself, and be super cool.
My name is Abid Hassan. I am from Exchange for Media. Tip from our group is, content is key to success on social media.
Okay, right. So let me tell you another superb tip I learned. They say that when we get up in the morning, almost the first thing that we do is read the newspaper and then check emails or check Facebook. They say that's such a wasteful thing because you're consuming content. They say when you wake up in the morning, your body is rested, your mind is rested. So the first thing we should do is actually write. So there's this thing called 500 words before 9 a.m. So before 9 a.m., if you can write something about 500 words and then do your newspaper, FB email, that's also another great tip. So that's good. So who's next? So answer to that question. Yes, great target audience and very as cheap as possible and the shortest span of time. Anybody who answers that question properly gets the business of Exchange for Media.
I'll do it for free. There are three things that you ask for. First, we will change our terminology from target to core, because target sounds very combative. So you're trying to get to your largest audience with the least amount of money in the quickest time possible. I have actually once made a little, how would I say, a little triangle with the three words written on each of the sides. So one side says numbers, one side says price, one side says time. And I have told my clients, with a physical piece, you can have any two. So you can have at the lowest price in the shortest time, but I won't guarantee you full quality of consumer. Or you can have as many consumers you want in a limited budget, but give me time. And similarly, if you give me a decent budget, then I can give you a great consumer, but I will not, I will not on the other, but I will not be able to give it to you at the price you want. So if we could do all things in all ways, we would have a perfect world and I would be a billionaire. But that is where you push your clients to focus on what is most important. If you need to get to market really, and I think one of the most important out of the three has to be your core, your consumer, your numbers. Without that, it's kind of pointless. So I think that, from my perspective, would be key. And then you can have it at a low price, but you will need to give me time. Or you can have it immediately, but you're going to have to pay out of your nose for it. So I think oftentimes when you have these conversations, make it a game of play with the client to explain the concept. Don't get defensive about it. Make it fun. And once the client gets it, then they engage with you much better and you get to your objective much faster. Yeah. I'm often called Gayatri, but it's Gitanjali.
moment you say, okay, give me some time, I'll build something sensible for you and I'll build something really nice thing for you, by the time you're contemplating this, your competition is moving very, very fast, right?
Yes.
So I think what she is looking for is minimal target. So who's my target? Minimal budget, minimal time. So I think time is something that we have to be really cognizant about.
I don't know if you were sitting and listening to the presentation I made, but there are two kinds of things that are going on in the world. One are fickle fads, which are fast changing and quick. The other ones are societal shifts. If you must do something of quality and significance which has a long-term effect on your brand, then look for the societal shifts. Don't look for the fickle fads. Because inevitably, if you go running after the next shiny little thing out there, you're going to miss the big picture. So take your time, take a step back, take a deep breath, and figure out what it is you want to do before you step in the muck. Because I can guarantee you that if you go running into it, you are not going to get to any place good in the long run. So it's different if I've got a fly-by-night operation and I want to quickly make some quick bucks and sell it to an investment guy and get out with a couple of million. Yes, I could be unscrupulous. But as a brand consultant, I can never recommend that point of action to any of my clients. I would always recommend a much better thought out strategy.
Sure. So I got to say, that's a good answer, Kalpana. Fantastic.
My mother's name is Kalpana, but
That's why I'm intelligent, so it's good. So here's the thing. So how many teams left? Raise your hands. No? I love that. So, all right. So here's the good news. You don't have to talk because we come to the end of the day. Yay. That's good. Okay. So A, thank you guys for staying back. B, thank you for sharing your ideas. 3, thank you for not sleeping. So I'm going to say, so good work. I think you kind of exceeded the expectation. So for whatever it's worth, I think we should just give ourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.